You know that feeling when your day finally slows down and you just want to relax, unplug, and feel good? That's where Mood.com comes in. They're changing the game, delivering legal THC products right to your door, no shady dealers, and absolutely no medical card required, just good vibes and better sleep, shipped straight from their farm to your couch. From delicious THC gummies, smooth vape pens, to premium THC flower, Mood has it all. And everything's federally legal under the 2018 Farm Bill. Yeah, this isn't some loophole. It's the real deal. Head to mood.com and use code FIRST20 for 20% off your first order. That's MOOD.com. Find your mood.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Hello and welcome to 1,000 Natural Shocks, a Bad with Money podcast. I'm your host, Gabe Dunn, and I have an interview today that I am really excited about because when I started working on anti-ICE activism, and just basically, I don't even want to say started because I went downtown is what happened, to the Metropolitan Detention Center because I had a feeling that this wasn't right. I had been down there a few times, but I saw this person on July 4th who was wearing a Luigi hat, like from Mario. And I just felt like I had seen like a kindred spirit. And I would say this person has been emblematic of the work being done in Los Angeles, very motivated and driven. If you're following anything that's going on in Los Angeles, you've seen Eddy because he, again, wears the Luigi hat. But he's just very smart and he's done a lot of really smart work, especially gathering, a team, I would say like a heist level team of people of different skills and different knowledge bases. All of us are from different backgrounds. And so I'm delighted to start interviewing a few people from this group. Eddy being the first one makes complete sense. And if you have been following Eddy.Mp4 this whole time, this is who that is. He's doing all of this work unpaid. It's like become his full-time job. And if you want to go to his Instagram and support him, I really think you should. So on with beginning to interview my fellow activists on the ground in LA. And this is Eddy.Mp4. Enjoy.
Told a lot of lies about achievement. They called you when they got you to believe it. Thumb and finger held to their foreheads in an L shape. Trapped in a capitalist hellscape. Let's fight back and have some talks about class and the massive cost of the disastrous plots of fascists and Nazis, fat cats and fox. It's 1,000 Natural Shocks, a Bad with Money podcast.
Hello and welcome to 1,000 Natural Shocks. Show about how everything's fucked up. I'm your host, Gabe Dunn, and with me today, we have Eddy. Eddy, do you want to explain to my audience who you are and what you do, I guess, as of right now?
Yes, my name is Eddy. You can find me as Eddy.Mp4. I'm now a human rights activist, I guess. A year ago, I would have never said that. I was in my little gay bubble, and now I'm over here talking to LAPD, interacting with ICE, going to city council, going and things that I would never do in my life before.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, all because of this Trump regime. This fascist takeover that's taking over this country, and no one's doing anything about it. Let me say, some people are doing, but I just want more people to come out and be on the streets and doing the work.
So I saw you for the first time downtown on June 6th, I think, because you were wearing the Luigi hat from Mario, and you were talking to the National Guard, and you were telling them that they don't have to do what they're doing and that there's a high suicide rate for National Guard members who were working on January 6th during the insurrection. And I found that to be like a really different and compassionate view of what was going on. What like motivated you to come at it that way?
Right. So that was July 4th,
Oh,
actually.
July 4th, July 4th. June 6th
Yeah.
was a totally, time is nothing.
So yeah, 4 cops committed suicide after January 6th during the insurrection. Why did they commit suicide? Because the federal government made them work even more to protect the Capitol. Also, they had to experience trauma because actual American citizens were attacking the Capitol. So
Uh-huh.
those 4 cops, their families didn't receive any, when someone dies on duty, your family gets,
Oh, like a pension, or they didn't get any money.
yes, they didn't get money because it was ruled a suicide, therefore it wasn't part of their insurance plan. And what they did get, Republicans and Democrats signed off for a medal.
Uh-huh.
They all got medals. And what use is a medal to these people's families? It's kind of sad, and it's both Republicans and Democrats. That's one thing that I really want to tell these officers, that you are sacrificing your mental health for two parties that don't care about you. They don't care about your family. And I say this because on June 6th is the first time that I went to an ICE raid. And it was in downtown LA, ambiance fashion. And honestly, it was such a big production. It looked like a military scene. They came in tanks and tear gas, and it was really shocking to see. I've never seen anything like that. And I saw their faces. Some of them were ICE, some were FBI, some were all different types of law enforcement. And I was like, you don't have to do this. Like, you don't have to do this. I kept saying this, and I was trying to get to their humanity, because at the end of the day, they are human, I believe. The past few months, I've actually seen evil in someone's eyes. So that's where I'm like, are they human? I don't know. I've had police officers tell me that when they wear their uniform, they have no souls.
Yeah.
So I kind of have been trying to get their heart to like think about what they're doing. I mean, like, I'm going into many different stories, but one time LAPD, 535 Alameda, there was a motorcycle accident on the highway nearby, and none of the LAPD officers thought that they should go and help this man that was dying. I will say they did give someone, they were like, oh, really? We're going to call someone. And there was like 15 minutes before an ambulance came. But during those 15 minutes, they could have gone and like surrounded the body so that like it would be safe. Instead, it was volunteers and people from like got out of their cars to help this man. So after I saw that, I went up to every single LAPD officer and I was like, what is your job if it's not to help people? You chose not to go down and help this person. All these people do is follow orders. They only follow orders. And if their sergeant or their captain doesn't tell them they need to go help, they don't have the spine or the like humanity to say, hey, boss, I'm going to go down there and help. I don't care if it's not my order. I'm going to go help. And I'm like, where's your humanity? And so I did that to every single LAPD officer that was there, because I was like, you allowed that man to die. You allowed that man to die, because that man did die. And so, yeah, we need to get these every law enforcement agent to really think about what they're doing, especially at this moment, like what the military is being and the National Guard is being weaponized by Trump to attack American citizens.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really eye-opening for me too, to see the level to which I can't wrap my mind around what LAPD and what these officers are thinking. I think they've dehumanized us. I think they see us as some sort of, I don't even know, nuisance, but also like, I don't know if they actually view us as dangerous. I mean, so you just came from court where I've talked about in a prior episode that one of our friends is on trial for throwing an umbrella at an officer. And so, like, do you think that they, like, genuinely fear for their lives from us?
I don't know. I saw the officer talk about the incident, and there's a level of like, when you're in a job, you kind of want to do the right thing no matter what. So I could tell that he was pushing the truth so that he technically was doing the correct task. Our friend, our comrade, our fellow protester,
Coworker.
tossing the umbrella after the DHS officer pulled the fabric off of it. He pulled the umbrella and pulled the fabric off, and it was just the wireframe, and she just tossed it. Well, she kind of just dropped it. He wanted to say, well, technically that's assault. So it was fully within the law for me to go arrest this person. It's debatable. A jury is actually literally
Debating right now.
debating it right now. I left the court to do this, and they're debating that right now. So, like, who knows? But, like, so because they want to be the good guys, they will do whatever mental gymnastics. And I'm sure that they're saying the same thing to us, that we are doing the mental gymnastics to think that we're doing the right thing, that we're not rioters, that we're protesting for what reason. It's weird.
So can we talk about the time that you and I went around the protest and saw the staging of LAPD, what that causes and what's that like to see that?
It's a waste of tax dollars. So much money spent for this. Okay, so this was, I think, sometime in July, early in the 24-hour, 7 days a week protest that we were having. One of the protesters were walking by and they're like, hey, there's a bunch of cops behind this wall on this street over here. I was like, really? And you were with me and I was like, Gabe, we're going to go. I got to go. We're going to go see. And then we roll up and there's, I'm going to say, 20 vehicles lined up. And at this point, I call all law enforcement co-workers because I've dealt with them every single day. And technically, law enforcement is not supposed to be scary. Technically.
Right, I know.
Like, I should be able to go to a police officer, hey, what's going on? And not be, like, accosted or be like, get away from me. Like, I'm an American citizen. It doesn't even matter that I'm a citizen. I'm just a person. A law enforcement is supposed to help. So I go up to them and I'm like, hey, what are you guys doing? And immediately, get out of here. I'm like, but like, why is there 20 cop cars here? And within each cop car, there's a minimum of 2 people, but really there's 4 in each cop car. So I'm like, the math is 20 times 2 is 40, maybe 80 cops behind a protest of about, I'll say 50 people. So I'm like, okay, so they have this many people and they're just waiting for what? What are they waiting for? And apparently I was talking to someone that was working nearby that said, this is not the first time they do it. So I was like, wait a second. How many cops are back here wasting like for hours? Because me and you stayed there for, I think, 5 hours talking to them. So I'm like, how much taxpayer money is going into this when literally Chief of Police Jim McDonnell said that there's not enough resources for policing. So he really thinks that this is a good use of tax resources, the police force. It's kind of strange. The way that LAPD uses law enforcement for protests throughout the city all year long is crazy.
Yeah, the big thing was the guy came over and he said, oh, we're here to make sure the protest is safe or something. He said it as if they were helping us. And, you know, we walked down and it's a public street. You're allowed to film. And we were chatting with them. And the one woman just shoved you immediately, a female officer. And it was just like they escalated it so quickly. Hiring isn't just about finding someone willing to take the job. I need the right person with the right background who can move our business forward. If I wanted candidates who match what I'm looking for, I'd trust Indeed-sponsored jobs. I actually found my job on Indeed, and it was so easy to search through what I wanted to do and my skills and find the right place that was looking for exactly what I could offer. Hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post even seen on other sites. Give your job the best chance to be seen with Indeed-sponsored jobs. They help you stand out and hire quality candidates who can drive the results you need. Sponsored jobs boost your post for quality candidates so you can reach the exact people you want faster. And it makes a big difference. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed are 90% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs because you reach a bigger pool of quality candidates. Join the 1.6 million companies that sponsor their jobs with Indeed. Spend more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. Now with Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/badwithmoney. Just go to Indeed.com/badwithmoney right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/badwithmoney. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Do it the right way with Indeed. During June 6th to June 9th, can you explain what was going on?
Yeah, there was just a lot of ICE activity happening. There was raids, and they were actually so ICE has been operating for years. Let's face it. People always want to come back with, "Oh, well, Obama deported a lot of people." Yes, he did, but not in this manner.
Yeah.
The cruelty that's happening, the lack of due process, it's different.
I'm also like, I don't care what Obama did. He hasn't been president in 10 years, and also I don't have any feelings about him. He's not my guy.
I agree, but that's always the argument. So
I know.
so I have to address that comment. So what they're doing is they increase their activity. Also, they chose LA for a reason. To instill fear to the rest of the city, to the rest of the country. They did the raid at MacArthur Park on July 7th, and it was all for propaganda purposes. Anytime they have a large production, they have they have drones there. That's when I was just like, why do you have drones? It's all for propaganda. It's for them to post later. So throughout those days, ICE was doing propaganda, but they were also actually going to car washes. They were going to, at that moment, they were kind of going to schools and graduations, trying to get parents. They were going to places of work, getting vendors, food street vendors, and stuff like that. So a lot of the community throughout LA were trying to like warn people if we saw ICE and just protect. This is the first time it was like we were under attack by the government, and it felt weird. A lot of people that like are American citizens that maybe have darker skin than us, like did not feel comfortable going out. It became a personal mission to try to help because there was a lot of people that felt like no one was doing anything about it. And so, yeah, that's what was happening.
But when you went downtown, I mean, I think that was like a huge escalation. I know the National Guard was there, things like that. So can you explain, because there's this photo of you that I love where you're holding an American flag up to law enforcement where like it's just like decimated the whole highway. Can you explain like what was going on, the tear gas, the kettling, like all of that?
I'll explain some. So I have a background in marketing and making promos and commercials for different companies and streaming services and stuff like that. And so I understand this way media works. And I understand that Trump uses the media to tell a narrative to his supporters. And during that week, he was saying that the protesters, the quote unquote rioters, are waving foreign flags. And that stuck out. And I knew that he was going to weaponize all the different flags.
Yeah.
So I was broke AF and I used the little $60 that I had in my bank account and I bought 7 American flags from Lowe's. And I was like, I'm going to not give him that picture. I like literally, it was so crazy that that picture got national, global like coverage because like that was my goal. It really was. I was like, I'm not going to let him get that picture. I'm going to show him me. Honestly, I had multiple flags because I wanted multiple people to have the flags. It just happened to be just me because I did. In that backpack, there was multiple flags. But yes, so I was like, I'm going to give the picture that he doesn't want to be seen. So go to the protest on June 14th. June 8th. Sorry, that's June 8th. Go to the protest. I just go up to these people, to these law enforcement, and I'm like, you don't have to do this. That's the whole thing that I've been saying the whole time. You don't have to do this. Why? I'm like, I'm an American citizen. Why are you doing this? we're all Americans. And so I just held my flag and people took pictures. And eventually I was just in the front lines trying to prevent any chaos. That's also when I first started seeing, like, one, my own privileges in just the way I present myself. And like even that flag really did protect me, as in like they did not push me as much. They weren't aggressive towards me. I would see some of them being aggressive to other protesters and I would move over there and they would have to calm down. It was kind of a reality check every time I moved with that American flag. So I encourage everybody to bring American flags to protests, even have a backup, because they will take it from you because they know it looks bad. So they literally have taken, like I've seen it. And then later on, they arrested me that day. But that's another story.
Well, I had seen this during Black Lives Matter protests, but the idea of kettling, so they come around, they block everything. This is law enforcement, DHS, ICE, National Guard. They block everything, and then they declare everyone who's stuck there as unlawful assembly, and
Correct.
then they arrest you, even though
Correct.
you're trying to leave. There's no way to leave. And there's like so many just tear gassing for no reason. They had horses that were stepping on people, beating people with sticks.
Yeah.
And like, I always think when you're talking about you don't have to do this, I always think like if they just went away, we would just be protesting. Like, it's so bizarre to be out in front of 535 Alameda and see that all of these cops in huge riot gear, like DHS, whatever, in these like massive uniforms with like all these weapons. And it's just people in plain clothes. At one point, that day that we went behind and saw the cops, there were literally 2 clowns there making balloon animals and like all of that. And in my head, I'm always like, if you guys just went home, we would literally just be protesting. Like, I don't understand to me, it's such a clear, just like, yeah, people are allowed their First Amendment. They'll be outside the MDC, Metropolitan Detention Center. We'll be like protesting, yelling to the people in the building, yelling to the people that are detained, whatever, playing music. And then if the police presence just left, that's what it would be.
Well, the reason that they're there is the powers that be don't want us there. Why do they don't want us there? Because we were filming them taking women and children into buses. That's what they don't want us to be there for. They don't really care about the protest. They don't want us to film. Again, this is a 24-hour, 7 days a week protest. At nighttime, around 3 a.m. is when they're moving bodies, moving people. And we were able to capture that. Also, the reason there's a fence in Chicago and in Portland is because they built a fence for us too. They put up tarps so that we couldn't see into the loading docks. They used LA as an experiment and learned from LA and have applied it to other cities. So yes, we could just be protesting, but what we're doing is actually also important work. Being able to say, look at how many ICE agents are going into this building.
Yeah.
This is even after there's a TRO for, I don't remember what. There's moments when there shouldn't have been ICE activity because of federal laws, but they still kept going. And we were there documenting that. That's why they didn't want us there. But what's interesting is that, cool, DHS can prevent us from doing that. But why is LAPD, the city, the mayor chose the chief of police? The mayor has the ability to remove the chief of police. 2/3 of city council can remove the chief of police. Yet nobody feels like they have authority to do that. So who really runs this city?
As far as I've figured out over the last few months, it's LAPD, 100%.
Look at the budget. Look at the budget.
It doesn't matter who's mayor. It doesn't matter who's on city council. Like, LAPD is in charge of everything. I mean, I could have thought that, but it's been really jarring. I guess, like, naively, and I don't know how you felt. If I was on city council and this was happening in my city, I would be going absolutely ballistic. I would be like talking about it every day. I would be trying to get everyone to do things. I'd be looking into what are the loopholes that we can do. I would be looking into how to get through to LAPD. This would be like my nonstop thing. Like, I would be in front of MDC protesting with everyone. I can't imagine a situation where I'm in some sort of political power and this isn't like my 100% 24/7 thing that I'm doing. So it felt really, when we started going to city council, my heart sank. It felt so like impotent and awful to see that none of them really wanted to put the pedal to the metal. Like, none of them were even paying attention to us when we spoke. But more than that, like, they just were not doing anything. Did you have any sort of like idea that it would be like, did you go thinking, okay, they're gonna do something? Or what was your like opinion of that?
Absolutely.
Right?
So we have gone through a mourning process of our political leaders. We go with hope, and then we start with grief, confusion, really, grief, anger, and now acceptance. Couple of things. So I think the reason they don't do anything is because they recognize that they don't have the power. They recognize that LAP really, they have no power over them. The second thing was a lot of them are corrupt. We're not going into that. The third thing,
Yeah.
they're paying for it. Sorry, let's talk about on June 24th,
Yes.
there was a vote to approve $17.3 million for overtime for the LAPD, specifically for anti-ICE protests.
City council voted to give that.
Yes, there was 3 people that said no, which was Jurado, Hernandez, and Soto. Nynthia Raman, who was a progressive, someone that we would think voted no, voted yes.
We've had her on this show. Like, I was campaigning for her.
It's a disappointment.
Yeah.
And so all of them should have voted no, to be
Right?
honest. But the people that we voted for still voted to give money to LAPD to hurt LA protesters. Because
I
let's
know.
say there has been real consequences of peaceful protesters. Someone lost a finger. Someone has gotten concussions, a flashbang to the head. Multiple people that we know have gotten hit with rubber bullets. And these are non-lethal, but they hurt.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. And someone told me that they lost their child because of a rubber bullet. So you think these non-lethal and these are not a big deal, but these are real, it's real harm that's happening. And LAPD is using non-lethal force haphazardly without thinking of the harm that it could do. So it's disappointing. But again, Nynthia Raman voted yes to this.
I know.
And this is something I've been going to city council to tell them, and hey, you have blood on your hands.
Yeah.
Even if you don't think
you did.
so.
You did throw a bloody hand at them.
I didn't throw it. I held it up.
You held it up. You held it up.
Yes.
You're very good at theatrics, I gotta say.
It's the way to get people's attention.
I know. It's a homosexual flair. The Luigi hat, too, is really become a really good symbol. I said Luigi hat one time to someone and they were like, oh, like a hat with a picture of Luigi Mangione. And I was like, no, from Mario. What?
Life has unexpected twists, and pregnancy is one of them. People in all states are getting abortion pills in advance to have at home in case of future need. Visit PlanCpills.org to learn more. That's PlanCpills.org.
So then we have Karen Bass, who is our mayor. So I've been with all of them, I feel like they've been saying one thing on social media and to the press and doing something completely different. And let me talk about LAPD helping ICE, because they will say that they are not. But there's a lot of video of them blocking stuff off for them, putting up barriers and then lifting them to let DHS in, but to block out protesters. They are guarding the protests. When people go to city council, I didn't realize when you go to city council, there are cops everywhere. They are there to take people out of city council, arrest people from city council. And so, it's not a fantasy to say LAPD is helping ICE. We see it with our own eyes. And then we're gaslit by the mayor specifically, but all these people who are in charge and make these Instagram reels about how LA is going to stand strong against ICE and all this stuff. And, I think you were deeply part of what was going on in MacArthur Park, where Karen Bass showed up and pretended to push out the National Guard. Can you talk a bit about that and about your realization around that and what she could be doing?
You know how the president has, what are they called?
Executive orders?
Executive orders, yes.
Yeah.
Executive orders. The mayor has executive directives. She can call for emergency. She could also change the chief of police.
Right.
At any moment, she could do that. but she won't. She could also do help push for a rent moratorium for all the communities that are affected, that breadwinners are being lost.
Mhm.
Um, she could also help with, let me talk about the mask. I'm so sorry. Um,
Yeah, please.
so I squares masks.
Mhm.
I'm sure your audience realizes that that's an awful practice for any law enforcement to not be able to identify themselves and to hide. Like, it's not
Mhm.
okay. It's very scary. But we have this president that says that it's allowed, right? So then we have all these politicians saying, "Oh yes, we're going to make laws that prevent them from wearing masks." Yet, who is going to enforce that?
Right.
The LAPD, the local law enforcement that actually is helping ICE, it's nonsensical. But
Yes.
what these politicians can do is help protect brave American citizens that have the courage to pull down those masks.
Exactly.
I have been in front of ICE agents, and it is infuriating to see them wear masks. If I had the support of my local officials saying that they will provide legal funds, that they will provide top tier attorneys, I would pull down the mask. And I don't know if that's incriminating me or anything, but
No.
it's not about doxing. It's about who else wore masks in history and did this type of thing? The KKK.
It's so interesting that they say they don't want to be doxxed, as if law enforcement is a protected class, which the Trump administration is making it. But yeah, the big thing you've talked about this too is that there's no way to know that these people are actually ICE or that these people are actually police officers. I know you went into city council and tried to wear a mask and say that, the president had said it was okay to cover your face and
Mhm.
whatever. And the LAPD, the security there, they had no idea what to make of that, because literally anybody could be covering their faces and taking children into a van. It's insane.
And as Americans, we're just allowing that to happen. We're just like, oh, yeah, I guess they have a warrant. I guess that's legal. You don't know who these people are.
Yeah. Well, can you talk about, I was going to say, so the importance of documenting stuff, because I think you and I are a little bit diverged on that, because
Mhm.
I know you want everything to be documented. What is the end game with that to you?
Well, one, I'm not doing anything illegal.
Right.
They should not be doing anything illegal. So why are they afraid to be filmed?
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that.
Are you hoping for some sort of Nuremberg trial after?
100%.
Okay.
100%. We need to know their names and faces, because there needs to be law and order in this country. There needs to be justice in this country.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast about, it's 5-4, which is about the Supreme Court. And they were talking about the CIA agents and people that were working at black sites that were torturing post 9/11. They were torturing most Middle Eastern people, basically, and that they had suspected of anything. It was mostly just, hey, you seem Muslim and brown. All the people that later it was deemed like, oh, this was bad, Obama just kind of let them return back into the government. They were punished in some ways, but they were let back into public office. And they were mentioning, I can't remember where it was, another country further back. Maybe, oh, you know what? It was World War II, where
Mhm.
Germany, all
Mhm.
of the people that had been involved in that, one of their punishments was you are not allowed back into public life. You
Mhm.
cannot run for office. You cannot become a police officer. You can't be involved in government at all anymore. And Obama didn't do that. So these people that were participating in this illegal stuff and immoral stuff were disciplined, but then allowed back into the government. And so that's the thing that I am wondering about, documenting these people so that in the future, not just about embarrassing them in front of their grandkids, but making sure that they aren't allowed to be in government anymore.
No, that's valid. And so I'm going to test your audience and see how radical they are.
They're very radical.
Oh, okay, great. Because I'm glad that you said Obama, because this is not a Republican versus Democrat issue.
No.
Every time we have these types of conversations, I realize I'm like, oh, we're getting too nitpicky on who's right and wrong, when it's the whole system is messed up.
I know.
It's really easy for us to other each other when we are like, wait a second, we're all barely affording rent.
Right.
We all are one accident away from being into medical debt that we will never be able to climb out of.
It's like a sports team.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah. And like, oh well, your coach allowed this to happen, so my coach should be able to do this. And it's like, no, let's stop doing that. Um,
Right.
and focus on the real problem. The fact that our mayor isn't actually going to help the citizens or the residents of Los Angeles, like the system's broken. They have no authority, whether it's Republican or Democrat. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
It's class war. And I think a
Yeah,
lot of Latinos who voted for Trump are waking up to that.
I think a lot of white people are
Yeah.
waking up to that. A lot
Yeah.
of farmers, a lot of people that like literally just have normal jobs. They might be well off, but maybe their adult children aren't. And now
Right.
their
Right.
health
Right.
insurance is going to double. And they're like, wait a second.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we giving tax breaks to billionaires? Why are we sending $20 billion to Argentina? Why are we sending $3 billion to Israel every single year and they get free
Right.
healthcare and my children do not? These are very concerning things.
You know, you talked about the 5 stages of grief, which I think behind you on one. With acceptance, what do you think that means and how is that changing your tactics or what you think will work or what you want to commit time to?
I don't feel comfortable answering that question because I think there's more levels that I have to reach to
Right.
really, and I don't want to give any advice to anyone when I know that there's more room for me to grow because I am in a stage where I say, fuck you, fuck everyone. No one
Yeah.
is helping. You need to be in the streets. Fuck you, fuck you. But then there's a level of like, there's level of activism.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that are so radical and they're like, oh, that's just a parade. No King's Day is stupid, blah, blah, blah. My response is, hey, when was the first protest you went to? What kind of activism was that? You
Mm-hmm.
needed to go to that quote unquote parade. And
Yeah.
then you leveled up. So there's levels of activism. People that have ignored politics, they need an easy entry. And so
Mm-hmm.
going to a quote unquote parade, if that's their entry, great. The point of all these things, events, is for people to meet each other,
Mm-hmm.
create community, see that, oh, someone thinks like me. They think that there's something wrong and we need to go on the streets and do something about this. That's why No King's Day 2.0 on October 18th is super important. It's specifically for small towns. Imagine, I grew up in a small town, so I know as a teenager, if I would have seen people protesting in the square of our town, fighting for my rights,
Yeah.
like I'm getting chills. Like I would feel inspired. At least even if it was 2 people, I would be like, oh my God, there's 2 people that care about me.
Yeah.
So it's so important that in small towns across America, people go out and show out
Yeah.
and show support that like this is not okay. What's happening to the United States is not okay because it's not about immigration. There's freedom of speech is on the line. Women's votes are on the line. We haven't spoken about how the ICE is really a prison labor human trafficking mechanism.
Oh, we're going to have Katie LaFoon on to talk about that.
Okay, great. There's just so many things that's wrong. This administration is doing that's just plain evil, and it's quote unquote unprecedented. Actually, it's not. It's happened in Nazi Germany. It's happened in Serbia. It's happened
Right.
in many different places in history, and we just need to learn from it. It is not unprecedented. You need to learn history, and you'll see that it's all happening. Like it's there.
How has your journey been with feeling gaslit or like we're in a different reality than other people or the frustration around it?
The number of times that I say, I feel like I'm going insane.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Uh, that's it. I don't, that's how I've dealt with it. I'm just constantly feeling like I'm insane. I haven't moved past that because like I say that because it feels insane that you're seeing all these things happening around you and everybody else is acting normal.
Yeah.
Therefore, you're like, it's me. There's something wrong with me.
Okay, so my thing with other people is it that I am biased and being paranoid because I'm on the ground and because I'm doing all of this work in person. Or so then people don't take me seriously, people being like friends or people in my life. Is it that I am on the ground, so I perhaps know more than you and have credentials? It's like a no-win situation sometimes with people where it's like, that's, yeah, I believe some of it, but like that's also like a lot. And it's like, am I credible because I've been down there, or am I like extra crazy because I've been down there? Like, which is it?
The number of times I've said, just trust me.
I know. And they don't.
And they don't. And they also won't go on the streets or try to see what's happening. And by the streets, I mean city council. I
I
don't mean
know.
just, I have to, let me make that clear. I've gone to these people's offices. I've had meetings with city council members and their aides. I've talked to so many people in different communities and heard their stories. People are calling ICE on each other, which is crazy and sad. And we're hurting ourselves. Anyway, it's just like go out and meet people, talk to strangers, your neighbors, and you'll hear stories and you're like, oh, I guess this is happening.
Yeah, I'm very tired of, well, what can we do? What can I do? How can I help? And it's like, I didn't know how to help. I heard about 535 Alameda. I went down there on my own with my little backpack. I didn't know anyone. I like milled around for like 3 days. It was awkward. A couple times I went up to people and was like, can I help you with something? And they said no. The first thing that I ever did was I didn't know Sosa, who's another one of our coworkers. You may have seen, he's the Taste Like Fascism guy, which I learned 2 days ago. And he put up a banner that said fuck ICE, and he had like a table where he was like tabling. He was giving out literature or something in front of 535. And I watched him get arrested, dragged away, arrested, and his stuff be taken away. And his fuck ICE banner, very nice banner, fell to the ground after he was taken. And I didn't know him or anything, but I thought, well, he went through all the trouble to make this nice banner. We should put it back up. So I like by myself was like putting the banner back up, taping it back up. And that was like the first active thing that I did. And it was mostly because I was like, he printed this really nice banner. Like, I feel like it shouldn't be on the ground. And that's when people saw me doing stuff and started talking to me. I saw you on Instagram asking for help with like video editing, and I reached out. I didn't know you. We had no, like, that's the other thing is that none of us knew each other 6 months ago.
Mm.
It's not like we're some like organized Antifa, like with like a head of like we just all felt something was wrong, and we all were pulled down there, and we all went there. Nobody came up to me and was like, here's what you should do, or like handed me a pamphlet or coaxed me down there. And maybe I sound like my mom even said that I sound high and mighty, that I sound like I'm judging other people, which maybe I am.
Okay, so it's complicated. The people that have been on the streets that I personally have noticed, I don't think this is the case for everywhere, so just this is my own personal experience, have been people that have experienced oppression of some sort. So they have a sense of justice that they can't, like if they see injustices, they have to go and do something about it. We also have what I call trauma tolerance. We have experienced trauma, and we might not know how to deal with it, but we have the tolerance. So I can imagine someone that has a very beautiful life, has never had to experience trauma. Everything's worked out for you, and you don't want to put yourself in a situation that you will feel in danger or
Right.
uncomfortable or awkward. As simple as just being awkward. You showed up and like, I have social anxiety. I don't want to talk to strangers. Like
Yeah.
the barrier of entry to protesting or activism is different for other people, but like you have to feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
You're going to feel uncomfortable, and I don't want to be extreme, but like I have experienced a lot of trauma in my youth.
Yeah.
Therefore, I've been able to be in the front lines. And we're not asking people to be in the front lines. We're just asking people to show up. It doesn't have to mean in protest. Show up for other people in your community. Show up at your local city council. Show up anywhere and talk to strangers. And you are going to create community, and you're going to figure out how you can help. And Like, nobody's going to have that. This is how we're going to fix the world. But
Mhm.
people are going to come up with ideas, and all those ideas collectively are going to make change. If you just stay at home or if you just comment, that's not enough.
Here's what I thought would happen. I thought that I would start talking to people in my life and I would say, here's everything I've seen. And they would go, wow, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, how can I get involved? What do I do? Like, I need to go with you. Like, we need, like, this, what everything you're saying is awful. Like, we have to do something. And instead, I've largely been met with like either nothing or like, well, but this way, but maybe I have a level of naivete that I've been alerted to throughout this process. But that's what I thought would happen. I thought like everyone would say, "Oh God, this is so crazy. We have to do something."
Bitch, me
And
too. Bitch, me too. Literally. The reason I did all the things that I did was like, oh, my friends are going to be like, oh, this faggot can do it. I can do it too.
yeah,
Literally. If
yeah,
they thought Eddie, he watches Housewife, he loves Lady Gaga, that's like, he is the most unthreatening, like the most warrior type person, and he's doing all these things. Obviously, I can do it, but none of them showed up. And that's where I'm like, I relate to you, Gabe. I'm like, yeah, you think you're going to have your friends show up, but they don't. And then that's another,
I know. And then when
yeah.
you call them out on it, it's very I don't know. It's I've been so angry, and one of my friends was like, I was expressing my anger about it, and he was like, so maybe your like role isn't recruitment.
Valid.
And I was like, okay, yeah, maybe. I think a general strike is maybe an interesting thing to do, but it's like, the same thing where it's like, okay, but how do we get anyone to do anything? What's the most realistic thing? Or are you kind of like me where it's like day to day?
If I had, what's that word that Miller said recently? Authority, power.
Like plenary
Yeah,
power or
whatever.
whatever it is. Yeah.
If I had plenary power and I could just control everybody, we would just boycott and we would all strike and the system would shut down. But that's not going to happen. So, what we need to do is going to be collective, multiple collective actions.
Hmm.
We need people to wake up. So, you and I personally have, I think, peaked in our social media presence. We are talking to a uh, black hole. It's an echo chamber. It's pointless to post the things that we have. I'm happy that I've gotten to this level because I got to meet you. I think I've gotten to the point where I've met all the people that I will in my echo chamber in person, and now I have those connections. Now we need to focus on getting at people that are quote unquote asleep or ignoring and don't want to face the truth. So we need to go in real places and either talk to them or just, if you're shy, flyers. Putting flyers everywhere.
Yeah.
Also, what's called white rosing, which is creating little leaflets. I want to do leaflets of news headlines and have thousands and go to a high rise in a building, a place where there's a lot of walking foot traffic, and release all the headlines. Because
Yeah.
people need to see this. And it has to be in different communities, places that are not affected by
Uh-huh,
all of this.
uh-huh,
We
uh-huh,
need to go to, I'm going to say it, white neighborhoods. We have to go to
uh-huh.
wealthy neighborhoods. They have to feel uncomfortable. They can't just feel like life is normal. We have to disrupt. Civil disobedience is the only way we have ever made change in America and other places around the world. Again, civil disobedience is not about breaking the law. It's about disrupting the system to make sure that the system understands that there needs to be change. You can't go to ABC, Disney, and just have a sign
I
saying,
talked about this in the last episode.
okay,
I
thank you.
told that story because I don't know, I'm angry.
No, you should be. I'm repeating it because I was just like, I need to make sure that they know. But yes, you have to disrupt. You can't just like, hey, I sent an email and that's all.
I know.
You have to make it uncomfortable for people. And the goal is that you like the general strike of it all. That is a huge thing that we need to do. We need to have unions all work together to coordinate a strike.
Yeah.
And this is what happened to Serbia.
I know. What was the documentary? We watched a documentary about Serbia. I would recommend everybody watch this documentary about Serbia, which is on YouTube. Watch LA 92, which is
Mhm.
about the Rodney King riots. Watch Water and Power, which is about the Resnicks owning all of the water in California,
Oh.
which is a whole other thing we're going to talk to Katie about. But
Mhm.
there's a lot of historical precedent, like you said.
So the general strike and the unions. So they were like, okay, we're going to have a union. Well, they had an election, right? So this is it. They had an election. They had a dictator president, quote unquote, and they knew it was going to be rigged. And there was 12 different parties. They all backed up one person, and they were like, okay, we're going to vote for him. If he doesn't win, it's going to be rigged because we know he's going to like win. And like they had people at the polling stations and like to make sure that everything was fair. And like, so they knew that the president was being corrupt. Then, so they're like, again, this is all peaceful, right? So they're like, okay, so we know that that's wrong. This is corruption. We're going to strike. And then the unions were like, I'm going to strike first so that all the other unions are confident that we're going to do this.
Exactly.
And so they all did that. Then the president sent the military to put some barriers around town because of there was going to be a march to the Capitol or something like that anyway. So the military did it. But at this point, this is where the military and law enforcement needs to be on the people's side.
Right.
The people convinced the military to, yes, put up the barriers, but do not kill us. Try, if we cross the flag, do not kill us. Just let us. We are also in your fellow countrymen. Like you cannot shoot us. And so the military said, yeah, do what you need to do. And so we need so many different things. We need the unions to work with each other, the military and law enforcement to be like, hey, we're not going to hurt you. We're not going to hurt American citizens.
Right.
And yeah, there's just a lot of things that are
No, people say, well, there's nothing you can do. We've just listed all these things that could change that we could push for. And I'm emboldened by Portland and Chicago. I'm not there, so I don't know what's real, but
agreed.
Yeah, but because their politicians could be bullshitting too. I think hopefully that's an element where, look, they're tear gassed the Portland police. You know what I mean? Like maybe the tides will turn. So I don't know.
If I was any of those police officers, I would be like, I don't know if I want to help ICE. What the fuck?
Exactly. Fuck you. Yeah.
Hey, one thing that we didn't mention, and I'm looking at my notes that I want to discuss real quick, is the media, the importance of media. One time, locally, CBS was at a protest, and the camera was pointed at the protesters. At that moment, LAPD had like basically kettled us, and there was about 12 police cars blocking off a road, and there's police. And I told the cameraman and the reporter, move the camera, face the camera that way, face the camera that way.
Show that we're not allowed to leave because of this.
Yes. And they wouldn't. And they were like, we have to listen to our producer. I'm like, oh, CBS, like the producers, and like the way that Trump has affected the media so that they don't want retaliation from the government.
I know.
All these companies bowing down. It's so pathetic. The fact that Google changed Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America.
I know.
That was the moment that triggered me. That's when literally it changed everything for me. I don't remember what month. That's before June 6th, but like that changed anything. All these corporations, there's so many different pillars of what holds up a government that Trump has successfully knocked down. Education being another one. It's just so much happening all at once.
It's so much. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad to have met you as well. It makes me happy that all of us met and we didn't know each other prior. And, hopefully it's something where people wake up because we did. So I don't know. Do you want to tell my audience where to find your work or anything?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram, Eddy.Mp4.
Go to city council.
Oh, yes. Go to your local city council. You're going to be very disappointed. But also use your voice. Use your voice. That's the main thing. Don't be scared to use your voice.
Thank you so much. 1,000 Natural Shocks, a Bad with Money podcast, is a production of Noted Bisexual, produced by Melisa D. Monts and Diamond MPrint Productions, edited by Diane Kang, Post-production sound by Coco Lorenz. And music by Zach Sherwin as sung by Sam Barbera. Thank you. Love you. Bye.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.